Welcome to Kinvent Talks, where we explore the power of force plate technology in sports science and rehabilitation. In this series, we'll break down the methodologies behind bipodal balance assessments and the counter-movement jump. We'll explore key performance indicators like center of pressure ellipse area, path length, and the Romberg quotient, along with CMJ-specific metrics such as jump height, peak force, and symmetry analysis. Whether you're a physiotherapist, sports scientist, or a performance coach, this podcast will help you understand how force plates provide objective, data-driven insights into movement, rehabilitation, and athletic performance. So, let's step onto the platform and unlock the science of movement. All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at counter-movement jumps and force plate analysis.
Cool.
You've given us some great source material from Kinvent.
Yeah.
Force plate experts. So we're going to be diving deep into how these jumps, combined with force plate data, can really unlock a lot of secrets about, athletic performance, injury prevention, and even everyday movement.
Yeah, it really is remarkable. You know how much we can learn from something as seemingly simple as a jump?
Yeah, so let's set the stage. A counter-movement jump, CMJ, for those in the know, basically involves squatting down and then exploding upward.
Right, exactly. And while it might seem like just another plyometric exercise, the CMJ, when analyzed with a force plate, it becomes this powerful tool for understanding how the body generates and controls force. Yeah.
So we've got our jump. Let's talk about these force plates, right?
Right.
The Kinvent guide describes them as super sensitive scales. But what makes them so special?
Well, force plates go way beyond your typical bathroom scale, right?
Yeah.
They actually measure the forces exerted on the ground during movement, capturing these tiny nuances in how you apply pressure, shift your weight, and generate power.
I'm picturing like sensors that can detect even the slightest wobble.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And by analyzing this data, we can gain objective insights into these movement patterns, things that would be impossible to observe with the naked eye.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get really cool. The Kinvent guide breaks down the CMJ into 6 distinct phases.
Yeah.
We've got weighing, unweighting, braking, propulsion, flight, and landing.
Each phase provides unique information about how your body's performing. Think of it like a film strip, where each frame reveals this critical moment in the movement.
Okay, let's walk through it. Starting with weighing, this is our baseline, right? Just standing still in the force plate.
Right, it establishes your weight and provides a reference point for all the subsequent phases. Then we move into unweighting and braking as you descend into that squat, kind of like a coiled spring getting ready to release.
And the force plate is capturing how well you control that descent, which I imagine is crucial for things like injury prevention, especially if you're landing from a jump or changing direction quickly.
Absolutely. Unweighting and braking reveal a lot about your stability and how efficiently you absorb force. Then comes the explosive part, propulsion. This is where you extend your legs and push off the ground, put all that power into the jump.
So are we talking pure strength here, or is there more to it?
It's more than just brute force. Propulsion involves this complex interplay of muscle activation, timing, and coordination. The force plate data can show us not only how much force you generate, but also how quickly you develop that force.
And that's where we get into those KPIs, key performance indicators that you mentioned earlier, right?
Yes. And one of the most crucial KPIs is rate of force development, RFD for short. It's a measure of explosiveness, how fast your muscles can go from 0 to full power.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is so important, not just for elite athletes, but for anyone who wants to move well, right?
Exactly. A high RFD translates to quicker reaction times, faster acceleration, more powerful movements. Think about a basketball player driving to the hoop or a tennis player reacting to a serve.
Right.
The ability to generate force rapidly is a game changer.
And we can measure that through a simple jump test. That's amazing.
It really is. And the insights don't stop there. Once you're airborne, we have the flight phase, no ground contact, just pure hang time.
So is that all about how high you jump?
Jump height is certainly a key metric, but it's also a reflection of everything that came before it. A higher jump generally indicates greater power and efficiency in those earlier phases.
So it's all connected.
Precisely. And finally, we have the landing phase, where you make contact with the ground again. And the force plate can tell us how well you absorb that impact, which is critical for joint health.
Right. I bet that's particularly important for activities like running, where you're constantly landing and taking off again.
You're absolutely right. Analyzing the landing phase can help us identify potential imbalances or weaknesses that could lead to injuries over time.
Okay, so we've got our 6 phases. each providing a window into different aspects of your movement. And then we layer on these KPIs like jump height and RFD to get an even deeper understanding of your performance. This is way more complex than I initially imagined.
Yeah, the human body is an incredibly complex machine.
Yeah.
And the CMJ, combined with force plate analysis, it gives us this glimpse into that complexity. But we're just getting started.
I can't wait to see what other insights we uncover.
Hmm.
Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We're going to keep looking at counter movement jumps and force plate analysis.
Yep.
And this time we're getting into some really cool territory, I think. Asymmetry.
Yeah. It's fascinating how force plates can reveal those subtle differences,
Yeah.
between your left and right sides, things you might not even be aware of.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting to me about this technology.
Yeah.
It's like shining a light on these hidden aspects of our movement. In part one, we talked about those 6 phases of a CMJ and those key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really curious to dig deeper into this whole concept of asymmetry. The Kinvent guide mentioned that it can be a major red flag for potential injuries.
Right. And it's not just about spotting a difference. It's about understanding what that difference means.
Right.
For example, imagine a runner who consistently generates 10% less force on their left leg during landing.
Okay.
That kind of asymmetry could put them at a higher risk of, developing knee pain or other issues over time.
Okay, so a 10% force difference. Is that always a bad thing? Like, what if someone naturally favors one leg?
That's a great question. Some degree of asymmetry is normal. We're not perfectly symmetrical beings.
Mhm.
But when that discrepancy becomes significant, that's when it can start to impact,
Okay.
our movement efficiency and increase our risk of injury. And the Kinvent guide.
Yeah?
It provides some helpful guidelines on what's considered within a healthy range and when an imbalance should be addressed.
Okay, so it's like having this built-in early warning system, right?
Yeah.
By identifying these imbalances early on, you can potentially prevent problems down the road.
Exactly. Think of it this way.
Yeah.
If you're building a house on an uneven foundation,
Uh-huh.
you're more likely to have structural issues later on.
Right.
The same principle applies to our bodies. Asymmetry can create these, subtle imbalances in how we move, put extra stress on certain joints and muscles.
And this is where those KPIs come in handy again, right?
Right.
We can use those metrics to track those imbalances over time.
Absolutely. Force plate data allows us to actually see how these asymmetries manifest in different phases of the CMJ. For instance, we might notice that someone generates less force on their left leg during the propulsive phase, indicating a potential weakness in their, left hip extensors.
Oh, okay. So it's not just about identifying the imbalance, but understanding what it might be telling us about, underlying muscle weaknesses or movement patterns.
Right.
And then we can use that information to tailor our training or rehab programs accordingly.
That's the power of this technology. It gives us this objective data that we can use to make informed decisions about how we train and how we move.
And it's not just for elite athletes.
Right.
This stuff is relevant for anyone who wants to improve their movement, reduce their risk of injury, just understand their body better.
You're absolutely right. Think about everyday activities like walking, climbing stairs, even just getting up from a chair.
Yeah.
All of these movements involve the same fundamental muscle groups and movement patterns that we see in the CMJ.
So by analyzing our CMJ, we're essentially getting a snapshot of how well those fundamental patterns are working. And if we can identify and address any weaknesses or imbalances, it could have like a ripple effect on our overall movement quality.
It's a holistic approach to movement optimization, and the beauty of it is we can actually track our progress objectively. The force plate data tells us whether our interventions are actually working, whether we're strengthening those weak links and improving those movement patterns.
This is making me rethink how I approach my own training. I've always had this nagging knee pain when I run.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm wondering if it could be related to some kind of asymmetry that I'm not even aware of.
It's definitely possible. The CMJ could reveal, subtle imbalances in how you land and absorb force, which could be contributing to that knee pain.
I think I need to schedule a session with a force plate, ASAP. This is eye-opening stuff.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how this technology is being used in real-world settings, from rehab and performance enhancement to everyday movement optimization.
Oh, wow. All right. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the show. So in the first couple parts of our deep dive, we've uncovered a lot about these counter movement jumps.
We have.
We talked about, those 6 phases that break down the movement, those eye-opening KPIs,
Right.
and then the whole concept of asymmetry. But the Kinvent guide hinted that there's even more to this than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's true. What's so cool about the CMJ and force plate analysis is it's not just about, athletic performance anymore. It's about understanding human movement
Right.
at a deeper level.
Yeah, that's what's really blowing my mind here.
Yeah.
We started with what seemed like a simple jump test, and now we're talking about applications in all sorts of fields. The guide specifically mentioned rehab and physical therapy.
Yes.
And I'm really curious about that.
So imagine a patient recovering from, say, a knee injury. Right, they're doing exercises, trying to regain strength and mobility, but how do we objectively measure their progress? That's where the CMJ becomes incredibly valuable.
So instead of just relying on, how the patient feels, how the knee looks,
Right, exactly.
therapists can actually use the force plate data to see how the patient's jump is changing over time.
Exactly. We can track those KPIs, jump height, rate of force development, and especially that asymmetry,
Yeah.
to see if they're regaining strength and power equally in both limbs.
Wow.
This level of precision allows for a truly personalized rehab plan.
It's like having a window into the healing process, right?
Yeah.
Seeing those numbers improve week after week. I bet that's motivating for both the patient and the therapist.
Absolutely. And, the applications go beyond rehab. Researchers are using CMJs to study fatigue in athletes,
Wow.
helping coaches understand how training loads impact performance.
So you could potentially use a CMJ to see if an athlete is overtraining or needs to adjust their workout regimen.
Exactly. The force plate data can reveal those subtle signs of fatigue. Maybe their jump height decreases slightly or their RFD slows down. It's all about optimizing performance and preventing burnout.
This is incredible. It's like we've gone from using the CMJ to assess how high someone can jump to understanding the inner workings of their body and how it responds to different stresses.
I know, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
The insights that we can gain from this.
And we haven't even touched on the potential for everyday movement optimization, right?
Right.
Think about someone who's trying to improve their running form.
Yeah.
A CMJ analysis could reveal weaknesses in ankle stability or hip extension that are impacting their stride.
Exactly.
So it's not just about jumping higher or running faster. It's about moving with more efficiency and grace in everything we do.
It's about moving with more awareness, more understanding of our own bodies.
Yeah, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We started with a seemingly simple jump, and now I'm seeing how it connects to so many aspects of health, performance, and even just, moving through the world with more confidence and power.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here, I'm left with this thought. Even the simplest actions, like jumping, can reveal so much about how we move and how our bodies function. And the more we understand those intricacies, the more we can optimize our movements for a healthier, more fulfilling life.
It's a journey of discovery.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.